Hey guys, what's up? It's Amber Kumar, and I'm back with another video today. So today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by reviewing yesterday's pick with the ChatGPT wager that we made with the simulated $10,000 profit, and that bet actually won. So I'm happy to say that we won, and actually, it didn't just win; it won by a significantly large margin. The game ended at 261 points. The Vegas line was set at 222 for the over/under. We predicted the over would be at 238 after regulation time. Our GPT simulation was only 4 points away from the actual prediction, which was 234 to 238. So after OT, though, overtime obviously is going to fluctuate the data points and the number, but it went in our favor. If you did profit and you did wager, I'm happy for you guys, and let's look forward to make some more money today. And let's just talk a little bit about that first, and then after we go over yesterday's bet with the GPT and the Boston Celtics and the Pacers, with also the second prediction that I gave you guys with the Celtics predicted to win that matchup. The Celtics did win, and they were covering the game for the first three quarters majority, but in the fourth quarter they started slipping, and at the end of the game, it looked as if the Pacers were going to win. But with Jaylen Brown hitting a clutch three-pointer, forcing overtime, in overtime the Celtics won that game. So this was a kind of a bad look for both teams in that first game, but for us it's good because both of our predictions won, and our over one, like I said, was a higher probability consensus of winning that pick because you guys noticed we won that pick by like what? How many points did we win by, guys? We won by like 40 points, So that's a solid victory. Like if you guys had a lot more money that you wanted to put on that, the only regret would be that you didn't put that money on that bet because you guys would have made a lot more money yesterday, guys. And then on to the second part of our video, we're going to go over another simulation using that same framework and model as we used yesterday, except I'm going to make it a little bit more sophisticated. And this is for tonight's matchup between the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. So currently, the Minnesota Timberwolves are favored against the Mavs. They're at minus 177 on my book at one money line, and Dallas Mavericks are at plus 158. On the spread, it's Mavs plus four, minus 103, Minnesota Timberwolves minus four, minus 113. So I'm going to give you guys two picks over here, and also the score total is very important because today I'm actually going to be talking about the score total and the spread, and I'll be giving you guys predictions and simulations for both of these. At 207.5 is the line, minus 103 for the over, minus 113 for the under 207. So let's get straight to it then. Let me share my screen real quick so I can show you guys this data. And let's start with reviewing yesterday's pick with ChatGPT, and then we'll transition over. Okay, guys. So here we are. We got the code from today's pick. So actually, let me just scroll up so we can go back a little bit up because I did a lot of work for today's simulation. Let's see, when can we get to yesterday's? Yes, here it is. So this is the Celtics versus Pacers simulation data that I showed you guys in the previous video. And as we see 238, let's scroll down a little bit to get our final prediction, 249. I need to see where it's saying 222. So over here, guys, this was the line that I said the Vegas odds were giving us at 222 points. If you did place a bet, it would be against this line. And our projection was 238 points. Now, if I go over here and we search up Indiana Pacers, we're going to see, voila, Pacers 128, Celtics 133. That's 261 points, which is significantly above 222 points. And it's even above 238 points, which is what we had predicted. But if you look at this scoring breakdown over here and you subtract 27 from that, you're going to see that it was at 231. So, 234. So that's very close to what our prediction was on this number. I'm going to go back over here to ChatGPT and let's show you at 238, 234. As you can see, we're very close and our prediction won. So I'm very happy to state that. The reason I'm saying this multiple times is because when I woke up today, I was just thinking, man, this was such a good victory because we didn't just win by a little bit, the over cashed by many points, so almost 40 points, 39 points we won by. So that's really good, guys. Um, and also the second one was the Celtics money line. Celtics also won that, so we won both bets. Yeah, so that's really good. All right, guys, so let's move on and transition over to today's matchup, which is the Dallas Mavericks against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And obviously, key players here are Luka Doncic and then Anthony Edwards on the other side, Kyrie Irving, Karl Anthony Towns. So Vegas has set the line pretty low at 207. And I think that is because if we look at the previous games, okay, yeah, the last one was a high scoring game. But if you look at the previous three Mavs games before the last game with the Thunder, where they eliminated the Thunder, it was 104-92, 196, 105, 101. Those three are all under 207. Before that, they had a few overs. So obviously it depends on who the team is that they're playing. I think they expect this to be a more defensively focused game, because it's the first game. And although these are normally high scoring teams in the playoffs, everything's changed. As you can see, the Timberwolves also produced really low scoring output, but so did the Nuggets in that game. They destroyed the Nuggets in this game. But yeah, but basically we can see on average that these score totals are a lot lower than the regular season splits. Like I'm going to show you this data over here from the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. We can see that they're currently averaging against their opponent, allowing opponents to score 99.6 points. But if we look at the average points that they're going to be scoring, it's 109.9 in the postseason, but in the regular season, we're seeing a value of 113 points per game. So it's automatically defense is automatically decreasing this average points per game because it's the playoffs. And obviously intensity is going to be higher because more things are at stake. And now this is the final conference final round. We are one round before the NBA final championship round for deciding who takes home the 2023-2024 NBA trophy. So because of that, the teams are going to be playing more competitive, more defense, and that's why I think Vegas is expecting to have this as a lower points total game. But I mean, Luka Doncic, this man right here, he's averaging a lot of points. He's averaging 33 points, I think, 27.2 in the postseason, 33 in the regular season. So he's averaging a lot of points, but he's only one player, and at the end of the day, they're going to try to contain him as well. So let's get straight to the GPT side of this bet. We did enough data analysis. So the first thing I did, actually today, guys, I'm not going to go into like showing you guys exactly the inputs into this, how I get these things, because you can check that out in my other video. I want to save time today and get straight to the output so we can get to what's really important and do more data analysis and data visualization. So the first thing I did though was I did still pull the data from this data group over here, and I did the same for the Timberwolves. And then what I did over here was I just pasted it over here, and let's go down. This is still looking at yesterday's game. Yeah, see, this is where you see I put the data, it's putting it in the code, running some analysis, getting us some projections. Once we got those projections, though, I noticed that these numbers are extremely inflated for some reason. So that means that there's definitely an overfitting or normalization issue with the data. We needed to scale this data and fix that data because that is way too high, guys. So then I did the same thing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Before I attempted to fix the data, I wanted to feed Chat-GPT all the data so it has all the data and not just scaling one part of the data. But as you can see, it's saying giving sum of all projected points for the Mavs at 123, which is reasonable. But the Minnesota Timberwolves at 195, excuse me, is extremely not reasonable. I mean, I don't think any team has scored that. So, and looks like an all-star game value right here. So that's why I told it that you need to calm down with the data hallucination. And then it's saying, okay, let's verify the input data to ensure correctness. Use our linear regression model, simulate that 200 times, and get us these player statistics. And so now it's doing this, gives us some code. And then I said, let's run some more simulations because I want to make sure it's more accurate. So it runs it 1,000 times, and we get 1,000 simulations. But even on 1,000 simulations, it's still giving us a value of 154 and 151, which is too high. So I went down and I said, okay, well, if we're telling you that, why don't I give you some more benchmark data that Vegas is setting the line at 207 points? So why don't you scale the data? Well, don't scale the data, but give me a number that's reasonably close to what Vegas is predicting, because the Vegas casinos are not stupid. They have their own algorithms which are running these daily, and they're using early betting money from the sharp bettors to evaluate the lines and shifting the lines based on that, which means that these numbers are extremely accurate numbers. Although yesterday's number was way over, yeah, there are exceptions to the score total lines, but on average, and I've noticed this like throughout the entire NBA season, because I've been betting NBA, this entire season, and I did bet over under, but I decided to actually not attack the over under and attack the more money line and spread bets for that exact reason, that the score totals that Vegas predicts is just extremely accurate, and they have an edge over us. And that's, one of the reasons why I have this motivation for this type of analysis in this video, that I want to use this data to get something that evens us out with Vegas and gets us more close to the lines that they get. So that's why I told it 207. So now adjusting for that, it gives us some more code. We go down here. And I said, you should just use the same code as yesterday because we won that bet and we won it by a significant margin. So I told it to change its code. It gives us a lot of code. It uses NumPy and pandas with scikit-learn again on a linear regression model, runs at 200 iterations. And we go down, but it's still giving us a higher value. So guys, this is taking a bit of time over here because it's still giving us like a high value for the points and too high value. So eventually I got it down to something better, but over here it's still 426 points. But what I did was I told it that I'm going to give you a few more statistics to ChatGPT, and I wanted it to choose these numbers, that the Dallas Mavericks average points per game, rebounds per game, assists per game, and same for the Minnesota Timberwolves, to get the more realistic simulation value that we're not going to have it too high. And it adds all these numbers into a table. So it's actually putting every single different simulation value into a different projected points value in the table. And that's what I like to see, is that it's not losing the data, it's not forgetting the data, it's just mapping out all of the data and all the numbers so that if somebody wants to use that data, we can use it. And now we start getting a little bit more realistic. It's giving us a total projected score of 230 points, but in reality, that's still a hallucination, because I don't think that this would be 230 points if Vegas is setting it at 207. So something's wrong here. So I told it, can you adjust for defensive statistics? So that's when I gave it the opponent's points per game allowed over here in this, where was it? I already exited out, but I showed you guys earlier, opponent's points per game category on ESPN data, gave it that. And then I said, compare that to the 207 Vegas line, run us some analysis using Python and get us a value. And then I said, rerun it 1,000 times to get a more accurate prediction. And that's when it comes down, it gets us these values, 103.98. So this is where we start getting some concrete, valuable data. And this is the data that I think is the most accurate prediction simulation model from all of the data. So just assuming the data for score, points total, our bet for this game for the over-under prediction is going to be under 207. And that actually is a higher odd on my book at minus 113 compared to minus 103, which does give us a little bit more of a hint that that's more likely of an outcome to hit under 207 than to hit over 207. But actually, that's not the bet that I staked on this game. So the bet that I staked on this game is I staked the Dallas Mavericks +4 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And the reason for that being is that and that was at minus 103. The reason for that is because you can see here we have the Mavs projected at 103.92 points and the Minnesota Timberwolves at 98.9. The Minnesota Timberwolves are favored as the favorite by 4 points, which means that in order to cover that spread, they need to win this game by 5 points or more. Now, even in the event that the Timberwolves do win this game, because they might actually win this game tonight, I think it'll be extremely difficult in a game one situation with a motivated Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving and all those other players on the Mavs to be coming into this game and just letting the Timberwolves step over them like that. You know, the Mavs have had more rest than the Timberwolves because the Timberwolves are just coming off that matchup against the Nuggets. And so I think that, you know, assuming all these factors, assuming our data projection right here with 103.98, I think that the Mavs will definitely be able to cover a +4 point spread, which means that if they lose by 4 points, you're going to get your money back on the bet. And if they lose by 3 points or less, or if they win the game, which there's a high probability of that happening, you're going to win that bet. So that's why that's a really good projection right there for the spread. And if you are going to take the over under, the data is suggesting that the game is likely to go under. So those are our two picks: under 207 points for Dallas Mavericks against the Timberwolves, and projected score 203 points with the spread of Dallas Mavericks +4. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, but before we end this video, actually, I wanted to give you guys one last prediction free pick for today, because I staked this actually on my own money. And this is, if you guys are interested in European soccer, this is today is the day of the 2023-2024 UEFA Europa League final gold medal championship game between Bayer Leverkusen and Atalanta BC from Italy. So this is an Italian Serie A team against the Bundesliga Bayer Leverkusen, and Atalanta is the victor against this team. You know, in their previous matchups, they do have a history of winning. But today, I'm taking Bayer Leverkusen money line, and I think you guys should too if you want to make some significant profits. I hope you trusted me after yesterday's bets, but today I can show you that their average total goals is higher than Atlanta. The goal differential is higher. They have more assists and a few more goals against, but that comes overridden by these total goals scored. I also watched this. The coach seems very confident that they're going to attack Atalanta and be able to dismantle them tonight. And you know, Leverkusen's had a historic season. So yeah, I think it's going to go in the way of Bayer Leverkusen, and they're going to take home that championship medal. So that's my last pick today is Bayer Leverkusen money line. And the other two picks, I'll just recap that for you before we end this video, is Dallas Mavericks +4, and the under 207 points for the score total between the Mavs and the Timberwolves. Thank you, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video.